welcome to another episode of In the District. I am Daren Jaime. Bally's is hoping to build a 500,000 square foot casino right here in the borough, adjacent to its golf course. Also included in the plan, a 1,500 room hotel, a spa, retail shops, and meeting space, a 2,000 seat event place, and 2 parking garages, and parking capacity for more than 4,600 cars. Now, the proposal has seen traction and also been met with some mixed reviews across the borough. But joining us now to learn more about the proposed development, we've got Soo Kim, who is the CEO of Bally's Corporation, chairman of, I should say, of Bally's Corporation. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have an opportunity to talk to you about something that's so rich and so big. I mean, this would be great for the borough of the Bronx, a lot of people feel. And from your perspective, why even bring it here to the borough?
Well, first of all, this would be the largest private development in the history of the Bronx. We're talking about something north of $3 billion. And also, the second closest one required a lot of public funds. This has nothing of that. So the economic impact of the project itself will just radiate across the borough. It's going to create over 4,000 permanent jobs, and these are living wage jobs, union jobs. And forget about all the tax revenues it brings to the county, the city. Remember, if there's a big prize going on, which is that the state is about to award 3 casinos downstate. And those 3 casinos, I believe, as being a lifelong New York City resident and taxpayer, should come right to the city. Right. Because guess what? If those casinos end up in Westchester or in Nassau County, the revenues go there. They end up in the city, they end up here. And those revenues go specifically to education. Right. And that, I think, I can't see a better use, it's sort of like the lottery. Right. That gaming is a highly regulated state enterprise, and this is the latest version of that. So I think it's a massive opportunity for the borough to get a piece of truly economic development.
Right. Again, for our viewers, there's going to be 3 choices that are going to occur downstate, and the Bronx has an opportunity of being one. And Bally's at the forefront here of putting forth this proposal. And as I said, it's a pretty massive proposal when you talk about it, 500,000 square feet, a casino. You've got a retail space. You're going to have a spa available. Then you have an adjacent hotel room. From your perspective, a good deal for the neighborhood?
Oh, for sure. I mean, think about it. This used to be, first of all, it's a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful setting. It's right on the Sound. Actually located between 2 bridges, the White Strong and Thorold's Neck, which each carry 40 million cars plus a year. Mm-hmm. So actually, the traffic infrastructure is already there to carry lots of traffic. But right now, that traffic goes right past it. It turns out that this used to be recovered waterfront, then turned into a landfill, and then later on, during the Bloomberg administration, it was turned into actually a wonderful world-class golf course, which a lot of people don't know about because it's public, but it's sort of on the expensive side, Right. But you actually have, the citizens of New York, have and the citizens of the borough of the Bronx have an amazing world-class golf course. So we encourage, first of all, everyone to come by and check it out. It's pretty amazing. So on that parking lot, that's where we want to develop. And the most amazing thing about it is this land that wasn't even here at one point, and then after that was landfill and garbage, will now potentially be an economic engine for the entire borough. With multiple billions of dollars invested right there, right alongside the bridge, actually. So one of the benefits is that it's really far away from where anyone lives, actually. So when you say the neighbors, you mean the golf course and the cemetery, because those are our actual neighbors, and then the highway, which is kind of loud already. Sure. Now on the other side of that highway is a park, Fairpoint Park, which actually it's a nice park, but it needs love. There's only one way to get there, which is on the southbound. You can't even get there northbound. And I don't know if people spend any time there. If it rains at all, it floods. And so one of the things that we would be doing in conjunction with the Department of Transit, Department of Traffic, and the New York City Parks is to actually take over the maintenance and care of that. It's one of the and I think that's over 100 million of our public benefits are to improve that park, the traffic, the infrastructure, the actual maintenance, so that it drains properly, that there are playing fields, and that people can get in and out of there.
Let me back in there. So, I know that you've been around the borough, had a little rough go round, and you had some neighborhood residents who felt as though, listen, traffic is going to be a huge issue. You got this big concern about traffic.
Yeah.
This is impeding into the neighborhood. How would you answer them? I know
Great.
that,
Yeah, let me just jump right in there. That's actually wonderful. So first of all, the traffic from the resort will not engage with the neighborhood at all. Actually, there's no way in and out from the neighborhood. Unless you want to drive across the greens of the golf course. All the traffic is designed to get in and out of the highways, right, which are happen to be right there. Again, we're going to improve the traffic pattern, including building new flyovers and expanding some of the roads there so that you can take traffic going both ways. And then also on exiting, it exits right onto the highway. So this illusion that somehow we're going to put more traffic onto that immediate neighborhood, I don't think that's what you're seeing right now. I think you're seeing a little bit of like, hey, we don't want anything, and that's why I think this is such an important conversation, because this is not about just one community. This is a benefit that's going to benefit the entire borough, right? Because again, when the jobs go here, when the economic activity goes here, when you work with a partner like us who's incentivized to align the entire Bronx behind us, we want to be the champion for the Bronx. This is going to just be a massive new economic engine. And that should be shared by the entire borough. It's not about one neighborhood saying, hey, we don't like it. And look, I tell you, I grew up in Queens. Actually, I spent many years right across the bridges, so I'm pretty familiar with what's going on.
It's home for you.
Yeah, it is. This is all home for me. This is all home for me. And again, as a proud New York City taxpayer for all these years and all my adult life, I get it. I get it. A lot of people will look at change and be like, well, we don't need any change. We don't need a change. We like it the way it is. But again, this is a wonderful part of New York City property. Right. And we should lift it up and develop it. I mean, think about it. Every time something major comes to the city, how many times did the Bronx get to raise their hands and say, I want a piece of that, right? So sure, Queens can go and say no to Amazon's headquarters because they have two large airports and they actually already have a racetrack and they have lots of other economic engines going on all over that borough. But in the Bronx is obviously, we know the stats. It's the borough with the highest economic need. It's also,
unemployment rate?
Yeah. And it's also the borough that actually, the most interesting stat of all is there's not even enough retail in the borough so that people that live here, they have to go elsewhere to shop.
Right.
Think about that. How lame is that? And we need to change that balance. Instead of people just driving by the Bronx, why don't people linger on a little bit? I get the fear that it's going to create some traffic, but people aren't going to linger in communities. Right. They're going to come to a resort that's committed to offer all the rest of the best of the Bronx.
So do you feel a sense a little bit about being caught in the crossfire because you got all this new development, so to speak, that's happening across the five boroughs? You got new development that's happening, and sometimes the residents that are out there say, listen, they're really anti-new development, and now you come with a massive development, right? And even though somebody says, hey, there's a lot of great stuff here, they're going to have they potentially have an apprehension because of some other things that they've seen going on across the city that they got some questions about.
Yeah, but this is a public space. This is not like, some fancy, super rich skyscraper that only for rich people. This is a public space. This is our park. This is our golf course. On it will be built an integrated resort that's ours. They'll have dozens of new food venues that now you don't have to go to Westchester, the city, or even Queens to go. It's right there.
Near City Island.
I think it's a potential game changer. We're excited to bring it. Look, I'm from here, and I think this is where it should go. It's funny, we were approached. Bally was approached to potentially partner with lots of different sites around the city, and I didn't like any of them. But this is a great site. First of all, when it's built, a casino here will be the highest revenue casino in the entire country. Think about that. Bronx is
How do
number
you?
one.
So if somebody says, make it make sense. How do you say it's going to be the highest revenue in the country,
Yes,
given the fact of
we know how to do the math on in terms of the demographics, the access. Remember, the location is perfect because not only are you drawing from New York City proper, but you all get to draw from Long Island, Westchester, even Northern Jersey. There's a reason why the airport's right across, literally like a mile and a half across the water. And you could get there by ferry. The most amazing thing about the location is that from the Upper East Side, you can take a 15, 20-minute ferry and be right there. No traffic, pretty green, And once we actually improve the public bus stops, the bike and pedestrian access, right now there's none of that to the site. It's literally one way to come here from a car and one way out. And so really part of the improvement is actually to make the entire site and the surrounding part more accessible. But again, when the neighbors in the cemetery next door, they ain't complaining, and there's no way to access the casino from the nearest homes, which are still, I think, thousands of feet, or I think 2,000 feet away.
Right.
And let me tell you, I think we are the furthest site from a home, including, think about all the proposals in Manhattan, I don't know, all the other ones, like no homes near us.
Yeah. I got to take a quick break, but coming up after the break, I want to talk about where the process goes from here. People can pay attention to, and what are some other things we can have a potential to look forward to. So Soo Kim is our guest here, chairman of Bally's. He's here with us, taking a quick break. Guess what? We'll get some more from him, including final thoughts in that second segment, and we'll have more from Chairman Soo Kim in a minute. Stay with us.
We're gonna start the show right now. This is my favorite part. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, this is Angel, and I am one of the instructors for the in-studio production. Here at BronxNet, we offer classes that can help you elevate, expand, and start your television career. All you have to do is sign up at bronxnet.org/education. For the past 7 years, I have been in various productions, spanning from talk shows, independent films, news reports, art displays, teachings, musical performances, and many more. Ain't that right, Angel? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Angel. There are a lot of creative individuals that we're just waiting to sign up for the class. And if I may, can I also express Thank you, Angel. That's all the time we have left. Visit bronxnet.org/education and become a producer by taking the course. The class I offer is also in English, en español, y también bilingüe. Nos vemos en la próxima clase.
And welcome back, everyone. I hope you're enjoying today's In the District discussion with Soo Kim, chairman of Bally's Corporation. And we've been talking a little bit about the proposal that's going to bring a 500,000 square foot casino right here to the borough, right next to the golf course that used to be owned by former President Donald Trump, but now is under the auspices of Bally's, and talking about the great work that can potentially come here. I want to take a moment, if you will, and just talk about where the process goes from here. I know that the community has had an opportunity to have a say And we know there was, some extended emotions there. But however, that's not the end of it. There's a lot more to go there.
Absolutely. The process is designed to be consultative and where everyone gets to, share their opinion. And I think that's an important process. That particular community vote is just advisory. It is not binding and has no ultimate effect on the process. Where the process goes from here, we go through a land use process, both in Albany and City Hall. And after that, we actually start the state evaluation of the site in earnest, which should start sometime this summer into the fall. And during that process, there's also another set of consultations with the state electeds, the local electeds, the borough president, the mayor, and the governor. So there's still plenty of opportunities for people to speak and raise their hands and express what their concerns are so that we could hear it and try to address it. So for example, people have said, hey, are you doing enough on XY, let's say on traffic? And then so we presented over 100 million of our 600 million benefits package is traffic related, including a brand new flyover just south of Lafayette Avenue, which is, again, we're not putting any traffic onto the community. That's the whole point. And this plan, was encouraged by the DOT, encouraged by the city. So this will improve some of the current existing challenges of traffic that the community does have. But as I was mentioning, as part of all this traffic, parkland, jobs, and other support of community organizations, we've put over 600 million of community benefits on the table. That doesn't include the actual direct jobs, the actual direct revenues, the sales taxes, all that, the increases in property values. It doesn't include any of that.
So when somebody from the outside and our viewers watching right now and says, what exactly are what's a community benefits agreement? How would you define it for somebody who may not be so familiar?
Community benefit packages are typically done in large-scale developments where in order to win the support of the community and really make sure that it's inclusive, the development is inclusive, you work with all of the groups that speak up and say, hey, we're concerned about this, or it would be really nice to have that. And the developer, in our case, Bally's Corporation, will go and say, okay, let's do these things. So public safety, traffic, parkland, we hear you, and we've added hundreds of millions of benefits to address those issues. Economic inclusiveness, highlighting the best of the Bronx, working with the nonprofits, we've included that as well. So it's a big package. It's, again, 625 plus, and does not include the other things we do already as a golf course to just support the community. Like, for example, us being involved in our foundation, potentially being involved in saving Preston High School. It doesn't even include that.
Right. For yourself, obviously, this is a labor of love because you're right here from the city, and you're right in Queens, and right across the bridge. Talk to me about just what it means for you personally if this goes through.
Well, look, it's strange that somehow a kid was an immigrant here. I came here when I was 5. I grew up in the 80s, going to public schools. It would just be, and then after college, I came back to New York and started working on Wall Street. I've had a 30-year career in Wall Street, and now find myself as chairman of one of the leading global gaming companies, Bally's. It's been a crazy journey, and sometimes I wonder, what's it all for, right? I mean, it's not, you don't, but then when I think about something like this project, that I might literally be able to shape a little part of the city that I used to bike past as a kid, it really just shows how really incredible, this country is and this city is, and how, if you can take advantage of and take, of the good luck and fortune that you have. I mean, there's nothing you can't do. And so who would have thought, I mean, that when I was just getting by, just trying to survive, that later on I would be helping shape the look and feel of the city. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And so, look, I'm doing this because I actually think this project is the best one for the city. It's a little self-serving because obviously we would benefit from it, but actually, again, being the only bidder that's a New York City taxpayer, okay, happened to be leading an actual gaming company from here, not from somewhere else, from here.
Right.
When I say that our project would be the most profitable casino in the country, I have no doubt.
For the person that's watching right now, right, and saying, "Listen, I'm hearing you. I'm trying to put this together, but I'm still not too sure. Don't know how it is." What would you say to the person that has the open ear and the open mind, who may just, I'm not against it, but I just need some information. What do you say to those?
I would say two things. First of all, casinos in New York are happening. Whether you want to or not, the state needs the money, frankly, and there's an opportunity to keep the dollars that right now are flowing to the neighboring states right here. So it's going to do it. The only question is, does the Bronx get a piece? Okay, and for too long, one of the reasons why the stats are not that great is that the Bronx was always passed over. Okay, this is an opportunity for the Bronx to raise their hands, be visible, and say that we matter. Because again, we're asking people. So when people come in and say, we're a noisy process, great. I love to hear it. Because the reality is the worst thing that would happen if no one cares, actually. Okay, you might be worried about something, but at least you care. So the way I look at it is, this is an opportunity for the Bronx to get a piece, and I think the Bronx should take advantage. And I'll say one last thing. We're also the only bidder of the entire package. So our community events package, which is over 600 million, also includes one feature that no one else is including, which is that we're going to allow up to 9.9% of the shares to go to local residents. That's the way we did when we won Chicago. So we are actually building the largest casino in the largest city that has a casino already. So Bally's has been through a competitive RFP process, and we beat everyone else. And so we're building one in Chicago. And now in Chicago, we've actually set aside 25% of the equity of that project to share with city and state folks so that they can go walk by there and say, that's mine. I don't want people to say, hey, that's Soo Kim's. I want people to say, that's mine. I got a piece of that.
Right.
And that, I think, is a pretty special opportunity.
Timeline. Somebody says, what's the timeline? If I'm here in 2025, if things go well and projected, when do I see this 500,000 square foot edifice constructed?
We believe that the state could award casinos as soon as probably first half of next year. And, I think we could, from the time of award, now we've already designed it. So from the time of award, could we get it built in 3 years? I think it's possible. It's a little tight, but it's possible. So is it 20? So that's middle of 29. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, in construction terms, that's right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
As a gaming corporation that has done this so many times over and over and over again, you definitely said you set your sights on the Bronx because there was a lot of opportunity here. When you look at the places that you've been, Chicago, all around, how does the Bronx fare compared to some of these other places that you've been?
I think it's a wonderful confluence of a great location, which we have site control over, a huge population here and in the surrounding areas, good access to that population, and I believe a greater community that needs it and wants it. Because I think that's right. I think there are some people in maybe the really immediate surrounds that says, hey, we don't want any change. But I think the Bronx as a whole, I think we feel pretty good about it. I mean, we've done our polling. We're actually pretty certain that our borough has the highest favorability to a gaming project. So there's a lot of reasons why we picked the Bronx. Partly because it's a great location, but also because we think that the reception should be good. Now, in all things, even if you're rocking the polling, there still might be 30% of people that don't like it.
Right.
But that's still a landslide.
Yeah. So how long did it take before you actually got yourself settled to say the Bronx is going to be it? How many places did you look at?
This has been, well, I mean, I've been working on this project for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a long journey just to get here.
Yeah.
But that's all right, though. It's like these things, great things take time.
Yeah. And what else is in the future? I mean, we know about the Bronx. I mean, Bally's is, the potential if they come to the Bronx. What else do you have going on that maybe you want to let us know about?
Well, we just, earlier this week, we just purchased a company that owns 3 casinos in Australia, in Sydney, and Brisbane, and Gold Coast, which is like the equivalent of saying that it owns the only casino in New York and Chicago and Miami. That would be like the Australian equivalents or the American equivalents of those Australian cities. So we got a lot going on. Look, we're the fastest growing gaming company in the country. Maybe the world, I'm not sure. I'm not really counting. But we're up to 19 casinos before we add the 3 from Australia. So now we're at 22. We just keep going. And again, I feel really fortunate that we've managed to build, and me as well as really the wonderful people that work with me. We employ, I don't know, close to probably 12,000 people even before the acquisition. Every single one is an important member of the team to help us deliver great experiences to our customers, to deliver huge revenues to all the states and countries we operate in. Mm-hmm. And it's a great business, and we're going to keep growing into it. So we're pretty excited.
Well, I want to thank you for coming by the set of the district. Soo Kim here with us, chairman of Bally's, and thank you. Of course, we'll continue to watch and follow all that goes on, and of course, there's an open seat for you. Come on back if there's anytime you want to get your message across and have a conversation.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate this forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Soo Kim, our guest here. I want to thank everybody today for watching. Remember, you can always watch this program anytime, anywhere on BronxNet.org and, of course, on YouTube. And while you're there, be sure to follow BronxNet on social media to find out who will be the next community leader that we sit down with in the district. I'm Daren Jaime, and we'll talk soon.